Hello everyone. Welcome back. Today we are going to explore an engaging and satirical short story titled The Competition, written by Nirmali Hettiarachchi. At first glance, this story appears to be about a village Vesak lantern competition. However, beneath the colorful decorations lies a sharp criticism of power, ego, hypocrisy, and social manipulation. Through humor and irony, the writer exposes how authority figures misuse rules for personal pride. Let's begin by understanding the story. First, let's look at what happens in the story. The story revolves around an annual Vesak lantern competition, organized by the village headman. The headman takes great pride in controlling every detail of the competition. Winning this event brings prestige and honor in the village. This year, the competition becomes even more important because an influential dignitary from the city agrees to judge it. Meanwhile, a young school mistress wishes to enter a Vesak lantern made by her junior students. However, the headman refuses, claiming that strict rules do not allow it. On the day of the competition, events take an unexpected turn. When the dignitary notices the children's beautifully lit lantern, decorated with electric bulbs instead of traditional candles. In the end, the dignitary declares the children's lantern the winner, humiliating the headman. Now let's examine the elements of prose. To understand the competition, we analyze 6 key elements of prose. These help us understand how the satire is built, how power and hypocrisy are exposed, and what message the writer conveys. Let's begin with the characters. The headman is proud and authoritative. He enjoys prestige and control. His main concern is protecting his power and image. The school mistress appears enthusiastic about her students, but is also clever and socially ambitious. The dignitary represents urban power and arrogance. He pretends to support culture, but is easily distracted by personal interest. The villagers remain silent observers, quickly shifting their support toward whoever holds power. Now let's look at the setting. The story is set in a Sri Lankan village during the Vesak festival. The competition displays colorful lanterns, traditionally lit with candles. The major contrast in the setting appears between traditional clay lamps, modern electric bulbs. This contrast symbolizes the conflict between rigid tradition and necessary change. Next, let's follow the plot step by step. Exposition. The story begins by introducing the prestigious Vesak competition, controlled by the headman. He takes pride in organizing it, and the villagers admire his authority. Everything is conducted according to his rules, and this year the event becomes even more significant, with the arrival of a visiting dignitary. As the preparations continue, however, small tensions begin to appear. Rising action. Conflict develops when Takira suggests using electric bulbs instead of traditional candles. Soon after, the school mistress requests permission for an extra entry from the junior students. The headman refuses both proposals, firmly using rules to protect his authority and maintain control. These refusals quietly build tension, leading the story toward its decisive moment. Climax. The turning point occurs when the dignitary notices the beautifully glowing lantern made by the primary school children. Its brightness immediately captures attention, and the headman's authority is suddenly placed under public scrutiny. What follows reveals whether rules or fairness will prevail. Falling action. The headman quickly tries to stop the dignitary, claiming the entry violates the competition rules. He attempts to defend his decisions, that the situation is no longer fully in his control. The outcome now becomes inevitable. Resolution. The dignitary overrides the rules and declares the children's lantern the winner. The headman is forced to accept defeat, and the balance of power quietly shifts before the entire village. Now let's explore the deeper themes hidden beneath this competition. One major theme is abuse of authority. The headman uses rules to protect his ego rather than fairness. Another theme is hypocrisy. Both the headman and the dignitary pretend to care about culture, but are motivated by personal pride. The story also highlights the tension between tradition and modernity. Finally, it reveals how people quickly shift loyalty based on power. Let's now look at how the story is narrated. The story is written in the third person. The narrator remains mostly objective, but uses irony to expose foolish behavior. Through subtle description, the writer allows readers to see the hypocrisy without directly criticizing it. Finally, let's examine the style. The writer uses satire to criticize village politics and power structures. Irony plays a major role. The headman, who insists on rules, is defeated by higher authority. The lantern itself becomes a symbol of change and social exposure. The humor is subtle but sharp. Let's end with the message of the story. The competition teaches us that authority based on ego and control cannot survive genuine challenge. Rules should serve fairness, not personal pride. The story reminds us that social power is fragile and easily exposed. Through humor and irony, the writer delivers a powerful social message. Thank you for watching. Like, share and subscribe for more clear literature lessons.